Let's go ahead and get started. So just I think everybody is kind of figuring out how everything works, but just as a so the boardroom calls are really an ask anything. This is for you to come and ask specific could be specific questions about business, marketing, sales, packages, any of those kind of things that are coming up on a day-to-day basis for you inside business. It could be about honestly, kind of anything goes. The only thing that this call is really not for, which is more for our onboarding calls, are specifics around any of the agency things. So your booking page, events. If you want to use this call to like come up with creative ideas for your events, that's fantastic. But any of the kind of like technical stuff, we save that for technical admin is for our onboarding calls. So with that, otherwise, don't go ahead, raise your hand. Let me see what I can tap into, what questions you have, and let's get going. Anybody want to go first? Daisha, yeah, come on forward.
I've got a lot of questions.
I
Okay.
love it.
So I have the opportunity. I'm in another group, and this other group, someone is there's like, hey, I'm working on this fundraiser, they're on the board for this fundraiser, blah, blah, blah. Does anybody have a product or service that they can donate? So I said, well, this is what I do. I don't know if it would fit your audience. She's like, oh, she's like, it's a lot of business people are going to be there. So the question that I have is, do I donate my $99 readings? Do I do my 15-minute $300? Do I do group meetings? Do I do a combination? Like what, good for me, good for them. Like what would be a good strategy to do? Obviously I've never done this before. I've been to a lot of fundraisers.
Yeah. Okay. So number one, what is the fundraiser for?
It is for children who are, sadly, children who are in transition, so they're hospice care.
Oh,
And yeah,
okay.
yeah, I know.
Okay. So I'll and is this for like a silent auction? Like how is this going to work?
Yeah, I'm sure it is a silent auction, where they have the lists and you go around the tables.
Yes. Okay. And so are you donating a variety or were you kind of thinking just like one, a couple
Well, that
different
was my
ones?
question. You can put in as many items as you want. You can put in quantity, like if I was to do like my 30-minute reading, I could put in a quantity of 10 and do that, right? Like whatever you want to do, and I can donate as many different items as I like.
Okay. So, I think for you, it's first ultimately deciding, how much of your time, energy do you want to donate? That's the important part, right? Like, of course, we know the money is going to the kids, but you have to decide how much of that like you feel good about. I think if I remember, I can't remember what you charge for like your 1 hour session, but if I were you, I would keep it very simple of just one session versus like a variety. I would
Okay.
maybe say, or I would do maybe everything that you do is connected to business, right?
Yeah. I mean, predominantly it always flows into someone's, not always, but often blockages and stuff show up in someone's personal life, right?
Yeah. Um, so what do you charge for like a 1 hour session?
300.
So I would say, um, if you're wanting to give more than that to the organization, then let that determine how many of those individual sessions you do. But that's what I would focus on. It's 1 hour, um, suggested price, I think is something you can usually put there. Like this is normally valued at 300. If I were you, I would bump that a little bit just so that more, I would for this, I mean, for the purpose of this, right? It's a
Right.
fundraiser. It's going like
Right.
I would show that there's maybe a little bit more value to that. We're going to meet via Zoom. I would write up something that really explains the types of things that you cover for business owners because a lot of times in situations like this, they don't understand the value. I can tap
Right.
into, and then really list out bullet points of the things that you often cover inside of a session with you so that they can identify of those bullet points. And usually you put things in like plexiglass, something along those lines. That's what I would focus on. And if you want to do one or two or three, however you feel, but I would keep it simple with just the same service. What I like about it, right, is it also gives you the opportunity at the end for the people that, purchase this, that do this through the fundraiser. It gives you the opportunity to upsell like more time with you, your bigger, longer term package. So I think these, as much as I love them for the good, like where the funds are going, I also love that as the service provider, you have the opportunity to like turn these into longer term clients as well.
Okay. And what would you suggest for the price?
What, oh, like I would show it at like I don't know, maybe 350 or, something like that. Just show that it cost, because like if it's a silent auction, people are bidding, right?
Right.
If you're just so you won't necessarily control how much they actually pay for that 1 hour.
Correct.
I would just like show it a little bit more than what you actually charge so that you can hopefully get more dollars for the fundraiser.
Okay. And then, so as far as offering like a group reading, you think just stick um, with the, with the hour session.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a group reading for that one.
Okay.
I think a
Fair enough.
lot of
Like I didn't
times,
know. I was like,
yeah, uh, I think a lot of times, in those particular situations, it's a lot of mainstream businesses who this might be their very first introduction to like intuitive business sessions. So to add on the group component, yeah, I think just the easier, clear, make it very clear. It's a 1 hour private intuitive business session like that. You're much more likely, and then bullet point out what they're receiving. You're much more likely that way, I think, to get the participation that you want versus a group or anything like that with it.
changing subjects. Can I ask another question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I started testing the 15-minute intensive. So I had my group reading and then I offered the one-on-one 15-minute intensive. And so one of the people signed up and she's already, booked with another psychic coach or whatever. So I knew she was not going to buy, which is fine.
Mm.
I did it anyway. And but I wanted to get her feedback. So in talking to her, I asked her about the 1 hour, and she's like, oh, the 1 hour at 300. She's like, that's a no-brainer. She's like, that's an easy sell. And then I asked her about my package, and in diving into the package, I could feel like I was not in harmony with my package and
Mhm.
really in the transformation. So, which was like, right, like she was a test subject. And I'm like, okay, I'm out of alignment in selling this. So how do I, when I offer transformation or when I say transformation, like for what I mean for being stupid, like what am I transforming? Because for everybody, I find that it's different.
Yep.
And so how do I explain transformation from an energetic or intuitive reading?
Um, okay, let's look at this in a different perspective. Okay, so a couple things I just want to say. Number one, do not ever assume somebody else's money
They're not going
story.
to buy. Right.
Yeah. Not just
I
that they're
know better.
I would say not that they're not going to buy, just don't ever assume somebody's money story. Like we never know what other people have going on, even though we're like all psychics here, right? Like when you start to make projections and predictions about what you think or think somebody will or will not, it will never go good for you. That's why the law of unattachment in selling your services is such an integral piece to success. Um, of course, energetically expecting that you're going to hit whatever your financial goal is, right? Whether you choose that for yourself on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, annual basis, whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely expect that that's going to happen, but be unattached to the way that it can happen and be unattached to whether or not people, whether or not people, can or can't make that investment with you. You never know. People come into
100%.
money all the time. Yeah, it's just I think it's a great rule to kind of go off of. So that's number one. When it comes to I think, and this is for you and for everybody, when it comes to your own packages, your own services, you have to believe in it before they're going to buy it. And when you have crafted an offer for your, when you have crafted an offer where you're like, oh my gosh, I want to buy this. This is so good. I want to buy it. That to me is the sweet sales spot of that is your green light. That's what you should be selling. Now, your last question around, but what transformation am I providing? That is unique to you and every single other individual in here. And that's where it is so important for you to be able to understand um, what what is it that they are struggling with? Where is it that they are stuck? What is it in their life or their business or their relation, whatever it is that they're frustrated about? Because typically that's our role, right? Is to help them go from pain to purpose. It is to go from stuck, stress, struggling to thriving, right? You have to be able to connect into your ideal client on a deeper level and get very clear for yourself, not only on what that struggle is, but that your package is the solution for them. That you have to believe in yourself that you are the solution, you are the transformation. You can help them. How each of us do that for our clients is very different.
Okay.
This is one of the exercises, I can't remember where, I don't remember where it is, but one of the exercises that I've brought people, I think I did it with like Christine at one point, right? Is really putting yourself in your client's position, right? It's the end of a really long day. She's frustrated. She's stuck. She had a really just, think about all of the feelings she's feeling, the thoughts she's thinking. And then what is it that she really wants? The exact opposite, right? Can you get her there? Can you take her from point A to point Z?
Okay. Yep. Okay. Makes sense. And one more question.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm revamping my LinkedIn and right, so LinkedIn has their own audience. And so should I cater to those who are more spiritually open or corporate? And should I call myself, a corporate psychic versus medium? Like I'm not comfortable really with either one, but I want to be also blunt about it to, right? Because I just want to be blunt. I don't want to be like um unauthentic. And if and so many people don't know what like spiritual advisor means.
I personally would steer away from the word spiritual and go more with the word psychic or intuitive. I
Okay.
only use the word medium if I am truly going to be connecting with those who have crossed over.
Okay.
That is a very different gift.
Yep, that's what I thought too.
So if that's what you do during your sessions, then absolutely, like you can include that, right? Like I typically don't do mediumship when I'm doing psychic business coaching, consulting sessions. To um, to me, mediumship is incredibly sacred. It is, I don't want to say separate, right? Like if
It's
somebody
very
books,
different.
but it comes
Talked
from a
about
different
that.
place. It takes a different energy. We go down a different pathway. That can change the entire trajectory of a reading. So if I am focused on helping somebody specifically with business, I'm not going to mix the two. Now, occasionally, maybe at the end, um, I might say, okay, also I have, mom here, she really just wants to get in a message. But very rarely, I really keep the business part. It's just very different for me. Now, you don't have to do it, right? That's just the way I have chosen to use my gifts in that way. But for
Yeah.
business, it's worked well. So I don't want to say you have to do it that way, but it has worked very well for me to do it that way. Now, I have always kept my titles, and I really want you to each hear this. I have called myself two things in 11 years. I have called myself a life and business psychic medium, which that's about as clear as you can possibly be. And I have called myself the business psychic. I did that because it's clear. There is no misinterpretation. There's no getting super fancy. Like, oh my gosh, sometimes I'll tell you what, some of the names and titles that people give themselves, like on Instagram bios, or like, I don't even know what they do. And it waters down when you try to get incredibly clever who you are and who you serve, right? I, I personally think like when I read some of those things like divine creative life planner, girl, you are a life coach. Like, right? You are and how incredible is it that you are a life coach? Why try to change and make it fancier and add all these like, I don't know, adjectives and verbs to it, right? Like it's just not necessary. I can't think of a better position on this planet, a better profession on this planet than to be somebody's life coach. And you're trying to like be, don't change the title of what you do to try to be different. What makes you different is you, your gift you bring to the session, the way you connect with your client, the messages that you're able to deliver, the guidance you're able to provide. That's what makes you different, not your freaking title. I get very passionate about that one.
Okay, great. I'm good for now. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Great question. Trisha, hi. Good to see
Hi.
you.
I know it's been a while. Okay, first, can we also use your title that you created?
Not mine.
Because
I mean,
I'm like
it's
moving more in that direction. And so I was like, oh, that's actually perfect.
yeah, yeah. Don't they are not unique to me. They are not trademarked. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
like I have like the business psychic. I think I have the Instagram. I think I have everything except the .com on it, which GoDaddy is just like refusing to like give up for a decent amount of money, which is, but
All
also
right.
I don't like, I have built enough of a brand for myself. I don't have to have a .com. And I also know that the only people that are going to a .com are the people that I'm driving to a .com. So
Mhm.
owning the .com is not nearly as important now as it was 15 years ago, 10 years ago. It's just not. The social media handles can sometimes be very valuable in that, but not necessarily the .coms, unless you are really driving traffic to your .com. So with that being said,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, and again, clear versus clever.
Awesome. Okay, one more thing. So, because my direction I know will be shifting, like I think it's already starting. I'm shifting from doing um mediumship and Reiki into more of like a coaching
Hmm.
setting. And I'm
Hmm.
very excited about it. And for the first time I actually used it on a client who was like, I have no direction. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just meeting with her because I wanted to see what she was doing. So I was like, oh, perfect opportunity. So kind of went in and I slowed her down and really just had her, I started asking questions on how to get her to think about what gave her her purpose, what made her excited, where she was going, and just a whole bunch of questions I don't think she's actually asked herself. But so that's more of just an exciting story for me. Other than I need help. Actually, I do need help, but I'm not sure where yet.
Okay, so I think again, for you and for everybody, um, when it comes to one of the main reasons that I, going all the way back to like why I started getting into coaching versus just doing readings was because I'd give my clients these beautiful readings with all of this information, right? Like, here, let me even show you. I just had a reading this morning. These are all the readings I've done this. My TikTok channel is it's amazing. But people have been booking stuff up there. So I did this reading for this woman this morning. These are all of the things that came to me in my pre-meditation before my reading with her. Now, when I do a reading for somebody, the only thing that I know about them is their first name, right? So all this information
Mhm.
comes to me ahead of time, and then I kind of go through it with them, make sure I kind of cover all those things that I see. So with that being said, what I would find is I would give them all of this information, and then they are in a beautiful way kind of left there with like deer in the headlights look, right? Like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, now what? And what I realized is they don't typically have accountability. There's not accountability in their life. They want to take action, but they don't know how because they get stuck, whether it be because of limiting beliefs, because of the people in their lives, insert whatever. Um, and I would really take the time. So I might have an hour long reading, but I would then take the 60 to 65-minute mark and say, let's create an inspired action plan for you based off of everything that we've talked here about today. And if you want support, if you want guidance all along the way, if you want to keep the energy from this going, would you like to hear about how I can be that psychic coach and support for you? Right? So it's a
Mhm.
beautiful segue. You're giving a little, like, I never watch a clock. Like, I sell a 1 hour reading, but who knows how I never watch a clock. That just drives me crazy. Remember, we are not paid per minute here. Um, so that can be a natural segue by you kind of intuitively creating that next step plan for that, the
Mhm.
intuitive and inspired to-do list for them. And then saying, we can meet on a monthly basis to like navigate that list, to look at what's working in life, to look at, all these things we talked about. Here's what that could look like. And that I feel like sometimes is, I mean, not that readings aren't rewarding. I'm sure everybody could agree with me, right? But being able to take somebody on that journey and be their guide and be their coach, I mean, man, is that powerful. And that's where the transformation comes in, right? That's when real
Right.
change starts to take place in their life. That's where that's where that's where psychics and mediums are going to become mainstream, is from that, not just from these
Oh,
quick fix, quick hit readings.
right. Actually, that was really good. Thank you. I'll probably have to rewatch this again to get all of that.
I've had lots of
All
coffee today, so there's that.
right, thank you.
You're so welcome. Let's see, who else would like to come forward? You're so quiet. Short call today? Pamela, come forward, please.
Hi.
Hi.
I am putting together, well, first of all, I've really gotten very clear on my title finally. Um, and what you just said really sharpened that a lot for me.
Good.
I'm really promoting myself as a psychic and intuitive business coach
Okay.
and dropping hypnotherapist
Okay.
because I'd put together kind of an informal focus group of friends and former clients and just talk to them about that. And it seemed like everybody had some kind of roadblock, which I've noticed before with hypnotherapy. Either they just don't relate to it, it's not something that they've ever thought of for themselves, or they have expectations or, just kind of fears and phobias. And
Oh yeah.
I can do everything in a coaching session that I do as a hypnotherapist consciously. And so I'm just going to not worry about it anymore. And that's just a huge relief.
And I think sometimes when we have so many modalities like that, right,
Mhm.
it can become overwhelming to go, how do I like include all of this in my bio? All these, like, we feel like we need to or should just because we can. When in reality, it's really the client and the experience in the session that should determine what modality you use, right?
Yeah.
Like I was just saying, if I am supporting somebody from a business perspective, I'm not, I mean, think about, let's use this call as an example, right? If we started going down this path and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, but Sherry, I really want to like, it would, you can feel it, right? It would just kind of change the energy, change, like it just, kind of
Hmm.
keep certain things in their lanes a little bit. Not that you can't be fluid in that, but keeping it specific to your client and what they need in the moment that they need it, right? That to me is what gives them such powerful sessions.
Yeah. Okay. Second question. Or well, that wasn't a question, but first question then. I'm putting together a 8-week coaching package, and I'm considering adding to it an option to also include one or two psychic readings,
Okay.
like at the beginning and at the end, but as a separate charge. Or, I
Okay.
mean, two prices, whether you did
Yeah.
that.
So what I like to do is VIP tier, right? So you could
Okay.
do it a couple ways. Number one, you could do a VIP tier that includes 2 private sessions with you. Or if you want to ensure you're going to have people join, you could also do like early bird bonus. When you join now, you get a private session with me. If you pay in full, you get a private session with me. The one thing that I will never allow any one of you to do is discount your price. We never discount our prices. We always include bonuses, right? Because most of the time, and I'm going to say this to you all from truly a place of love, light, and wanting you to have success and abundance, you're probably all undercharging as it is. So then when you start adding on a discount on top of it just for joining your program, it just doesn't make sense, right? You're looking, most likely you've learned that from looking at retail, right? Seeing how, like you go to the store and you buy probably like groceries, cost of goods at a discount, right? Like that's, I mean, we always look for, but a retail based is not the same as service based. And so it's just almost like automatic programming in so many of us, you know? I think a lot of times when it comes to money, we think that we picked up our money beliefs from like our parents, and not that we didn't, but I think we also picked up that programming from the way that we spend, invest, and shop. More probably than anything. And it's very discount driven, I mean, how many of you, like, it's not that way anymore, but like, I remember like, oh my gosh, let's see, probably when Robbie's going to be 18. So probably about 17, 16, 17 years ago. And especially when Aubrey and Kiefer were younger. So like coupons, like I would literally sit and cut those suckers out of the newspaper. I had my little folder. I would bring them with to the grocery store. I bought based off of that. I would sometimes go to like, oh my gosh, like 2 or 3 different stores just to like, oh, this store has Coke on sale this week, and this, oh, for my, like, I cannot imagine doing that anymore, right? But like, so I think that a lot of us learned pricing based off of discounts, based off of that So, and it's not that when it's service-based. Tangent there, but I get pretty fired up about it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
bonus them, things to think about when you bonus also, right? So let's use the example of when some of you joined. So like people are always joining the agency, right? Like it's not a cart open, cart closed. The agency at this point right now is always open for people to come in and join as long as they can't click to buy. They can't go to a website and join the agency. They have to come to one of my trainings. They have to have a call with me. I want to make sure they're gifted before anybody just joins, right? But with that being said, when you think about each of you, when you joined, there was probably a different bonus for joining, right? It could have been you got like 3 live training calls. It could have been if you paid in full, you got something. I always am shifting up and changing up the bonuses based off of feedback, based off of my time, my energy, and what I'm really feeling my people want and need the most. Almost always people want the one-on-one time, you know? They want that they have specific things, not that they don't want to ask in a group, but they want my eyes just on their business, their services, their pricing, their so that's important for me to sometimes do as a bonus. Think about the things that your people want and put that in as a bonus. When you're creating a sales page, man, the more bonuses you can include, the better. People love that stuff, man. Love it. And put a value next to each bonus. And when I say value, it doesn't mean, for example, my 1 hour psychic business coaching session is $1,000, or my 90 minute, sorry, my 90 minute. It's $1,000. The value though of those 90 minutes, I mean, I sometimes completely revamp somebody's entire business in 90 minutes. I give them new offers. I give them taglines. I give them what is the price tag that you put on that? Right? So that's where you have to not connect to the price tag you put on it does not necessarily equal the actual value. Actual value is so much more.
Okay.
Helpful?
Yes, very helpful. Thank you.
Good, good. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
I always smile when I see you because I love the sun behind you. It is like, I mean, I don't know how I was not, well, I shouldn't say I'm not like I'm a Leo rising, so that fire is definitely in me, but I don't know. I love the sun, so I always love that.
Thank you. So a couple questions for you. I only had one, but then after the last question, so when you're determining the value, like for example, what you just talked about, how are you just assessing what you would pay for that if you had your business and what you would pay another person to do that for that in that example?
I wouldn't say necessarily what I would pay because I'm not my ideal client, right? Like,
Yeah.
right. In certain times I have been, so I can put myself in that situation and think about it. But again, I don't want to assume anybody's money story when I'm setting pricing. So when I'm determining price versus determining what is the overall value, they're two very, very different, typically very different numbers. And sometimes when I start to really think of the value in a session, that will be like, okay, this really is jam-packed full of a lot. You probably do need to raise your price a little bit on this, but there's a difference between the two. When I think of total value, again, it's never just for the session. So let's use that example of my 90-minute call, right? It also doesn't include just a 90-minute call. It comes with 2 weeks of private Voxer support where they can come, they can ask questions. I can, if they want, sometimes people love it when I like pull cards. I'll maybe pull a card from them and send a picture of in Voxer or whatever, right? It also includes one 15-minute follow-up for them to use at any time they ever want, right? So they get an extra like 15. So So the total value of it
Yeah.
is way more than $1,000. That feels like the best right aligned price to me for somebody that's probably never worked with me before, has enough knowing of me, what I do, has been referred, something where they're ready to make that type of investment in their business and their growth, right? And their business growth. Um, and typically those people go on to buy like my 12-month mastermind, work with me in a one-on-one capacity. And I let them take that amount that they've already invested and apply it to any other types of, longer term packages with me.
Yeah. Thank you. That makes sense. And even as because that's helpful for a formula to determine the value versus determining, say you give them a marketing idea that makes them $5 million. You can't really put the value at that.
Right.
But what you said is really helpful. Thank you.
The other thing that I want to mention there, and I don't know if it's on my sales page, I would have to look how I broke it down. It's been a while, but the 15-minute session I was referencing, the Voxer access, again, those are like bonuses. You know what I mean? So to them, there's, I don't want to say more perceived value because the value is actually there, but that's where the value really starts to add up when you have those bonuses that are included.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
My second question was from the agency's side. Are we, as in the active agency, able to attend any of the events just to kind of see the flow? And
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I'd
would,
love to. I see some of the ones that I'd love to attend right now. So
they're
I didn't know
amazing.
if that was
Yeah.
something.
Are you on the Gifted Messages weekly newsletter?
I am.
Okay, so when you go into that newsletter, those links are right there for you. Yeah, but yeah, I would say
Just wanted to
also
ask the question first instead of somebody being the facilitator and saying, "Well, this person's why are they attending?" So no, it's anyone can attend anything really.
I would encourage it. I would hope that you would go and I mean, that's why I said like early on, I was like, we are creating our own economy here together, right? So I hope you go to somebody's and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Either I want to join or, book something private for myself. All of these practitioners, right, are just incredibly gifted. It's amazing when you actually look at our directory, it really is. And then the second thing would be if it's not maybe a good right fit for you, I bet you know somebody who it is for. And then being able to make an introduction or, exchange emails or, something along those lines too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, there's so many modalities, so not everyone is doing everything. So I'm already doing that with other practitioners where I don't do past life regression, but I may go to someone else's for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay,
And
cool.
that is, so I think, my intention with the networking call, right, was that those things would kind of naturally happen in the Zoom setting like that, where people would be like, I have this event coming up and this is what I do. I think what's kind of hard in Zoom though, right, is like we're only communicating via chat. So you would have to be typing in your email address, which isn't like a big deal, right? You can copy and paste and stuff like that. But I would love to eventually have probably inside of the vault, a list of all of the providers and a list of like their email addresses and contact information. And that's something just simple for me to put in there for everybody. I mean, of course, you could go to everybody's individual page on the site, but just having a gifted advisor to advisor way for you guys to connect with each other.
Yeah, I love that idea. I actually work with another group. It's an in-person group where we do that. So as we're talking with clients and we're coaching them, we're able to, you stumble across something and then you're able to refer them and why not? Right. So
Yeah.
it just fit the community, which is nice.
Yeah. And that's why I said, like, I'm going to try this networking call for a little bit and see how it goes. If it goes great, we'll keep doing it. If not, maybe we'll switch to quarterly or something. I don't know. But that's also the intent for those networking groups.
Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions for today. Thanks.
Awesome. Good to see you.
You too.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
I'm just finding frogs here today. Well, being from the South, you've never heard that before.
Oh, no, I haven't heard that, but I was at a friend's house. So I lived in Missouri for, I don't know, an amount of time, maybe 3 years when I was like 12 to 15-ish, somewhere in there. And I was at a friend's house the other day, and I live in Minnesota now, and they live out in the country, and there must have been like a big frog like in their yard, and it made this like, like really loud. And I was like, and it just came out of my mouth. I was like, are we gigging frogs tonight? And everybody looked at me and was like, what did you just say? And I was like, that's my Missouri coming out, I guess, because I haven't said anything like that since, in 20 years. So it was funny. Anyway, it made me laugh. What can I support you with?
Okay, so I'm trying to get clear on this on these packages thing, and
Okay.
I know, and I've heard you say a lot, don't discount, don't discount, don't discount, don't
Yeah.
discount.
Yeah.
Well, the way I have worded my packages are like, well, this is for these expos and things is like, okay, this is what the value of the package is. Here's
Hmm.
all the things I list. If you buy it today and pay in full, here's what the price. And
Yeah.
that's less money than what I have valued the package at. But I use that wording, here's the value and here's the cost if paid
Yep.
in full.
Yep.
But then, and I all,
Can I ask you a quick question about that?
sure.
So the pay in full, is that the actual, so for example, the actual cost to join the agency is $999. Now, that does not mean that that's the cost and it's pay in full. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't take a payment plan on that $999, which then I add on a little bit more for say finance, and that's pretty standard in most industries. So to then break it down and also give people a payment option on that $999. What that does not mean is that they are in a month to month container. That's not what that means. It just means that the total cost has been broken into monthly payments for them. So that's always like the thing that you really have to get clear on when people take a payment plan option with you, is it doesn't mean they are working with you month to month. That is that. So I just felt like I really needed to share that part.
Right. And that's what I do. If you are going to have a 6 month package
Hmm.
or a 12-month
Hmm.
package, you are signing up for the 12-month package.
Yep.
And what I've done at the suggestion of somebody else that I bought a package from and have been working with over the last well, geez, long time. Anyway, um, is that they require two credit cards for the payment plan.
Hmm.
In case one turns out to be, not authorized, there's another one. But I do make that very, very clear that this isn't a month to month, because
Yeah.
if you want just a month to month to month, then that price is very different, and it's going to cost you more money,
Yeah.
because then you can decide, well, I don't want to show up, or I'm not going to pay this month, and so, for instance, if I sell a package for $1,000, if you pay today, it's $1,000.
Yeah.
But if you go on the See Me Later plan, if you're going on the payment plan, it's $100 a month.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
some quick math shows that to be, well, that's $1,200.
1,200. Yeah. There's
Yes,
there's that finance charge, interest charge, whatever you want to call
yeah,
it.
all
Yeah.
that
Payment
sort of
plan.
stuff.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so that's all.
I wouldn't, the only thing that I would say is a little Raker. I am on a call. I don't know. Sorry guys, summer vacation. I don't know, but can you please go get me a bubbler out of the garage? Yes, we do. I just bought them yesterday. Thank you. Um, okay, so the only thing that I would say is I don't think that you have to have double credit cards. I've been doing
Okay.
for 11 years. I've never ever done that. I've never needed it. And I can tell you that Riker, the tell me you need attention without telling me you need attention. Jeez. Um, um, the amount of people that have defaulted in thousands of transactions, I bet I could count on two hands.
Okay.
Typically, um, now I don't, and I honestly don't know if I'm unique in that, but people typically don't default. They make their payments. Now, occasionally, right, like a card might decline. I have a system that will charge up to 3 times before it then
Okay.
kicks it out and says, okay, we need a new card. You need to contact this customer. So that's one thing. The second thing is um, the people that you're working with, like most likely if they're investing in something like that, like they, not that it doesn't happen, right? But typically I think going to 2 cards is pretty excessive.
Okay.
To me, the energy behind that is you don't trust your client, you know?
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Um, and
Yeah.
I trust my clients, they trust me. It's a really positive relationship when you kind of go into it that way with, I mean, for example, let's use the agency as an example, right? Like I put up a lot immediately to like do the booking page. I pay Aaron, like, so if somebody defaulted, I'm pretty much at a wash by the time I add in ad costs and stuff with if somebody took a payment plan of 199, like I'm not making any money if somebody just pays 199 and then defaults and they dip out for they're done. So hopefully that I haven't had any issues with agency things yet, but it's pretty rare people default in my experience.
I'm thinking you're right there, and I'm going to seriously rethink that. Probably just drop that, because if somebody's going to come and buy a package for a total transformation, I mean, uh,
They're
they're pretty
committed.
much they're pretty much all in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the system that I use is Thrivecart for all my payment processing. And when they enter and pay, that just becomes their monthly payment date that same day for 6 months, 12 months, whatever the package is.
But
And
say again that the system you use,
I use Thrivecart.
Drive.
There's a link if you go into the drive, there's under I think resources or additional things.
Oh, okay.
There's a link there. It is hands down the best payment processing system that there is. Like they're just it real I mean it takes care of everything on that end and you can build sales pages in it. It's really nice. I love it. I've had it for about almost 10 years now since it first came out. So
Okay.
I love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stacia, did you have another question?
Yes, I'm back. So 2 things. One is, do you have in your the things that you share, do you have sales coaching, a video on sales coaching in any of your, things that you shared or no?
Like, be more specific.
Training,
Sales.
like sales training?
I think I have, I mean, I have all kinds, I mean, yes, yeah,
Okay.
I have tons of courses and like all kinds of different things. Um, is there something like specific you're looking for, like how to sell, how to make did you go through the 3 trainings for when you onboarded that are inside of the vault? Like one's like the invitation, one is like
Oh, okay.
the
No,
there
I did.
look inside the vault. You might find
Okay.
some stuff that's already there. And then I would just say um let me know if you're needing more and I'll see if I can put something together. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Then my next one is, what is your suggestion to come up with a solid elevator pitch?
Good question. Have a few of them.
Okay. Fair
Um,
enough. Well, because
yeah.
some people are completely clueless and some people are very aware. And so I'm like, I get
Yeah,
stuck.
have a few of them based off of the audience you're going to be speaking to, number one, and the call to action. So, for example, if I am speaking to a room of, let's say, it's like an e-women, e-network event, right? And it's all women that are small businesses, could be anything from Mary Kay to insurance to chiropractors, like who knows, right? Like just a variety of businesses. It's going to be a little bit more on the mainstream side of, can I give intuitive messaging around authentic marketing, um, authenticity in your sales? Like it might be geared towards that, where if I'm speaking to a room of psychics, it might be, I just might be a little bit more on the woo side with what my invitation is. Um, or what my 60-second commercial is. I again with this think the more clear you are, the better. Don't get into like, I've been you know 25 years ago, I blah blah, nobody cares. You really got to remember those 60-second commercials are about them, not about you. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Angela.
Hello, almost my internet's going in and out, so I have to be fast. That's why I keep coming back because
No worries.
I was wondering two things. First, when do you make the changes on our listing for the things that we sent in on the 15th?
Those go into effect on the 1st.
Okay,
So
great. And
we
do I still
any
have time to send you the free webinar, or is it
so
too late?
nope. So all submissions for events and changes to your bio are due on the 15th, which take effect for the month that follows. So July 15th would be everything that takes effect for August. So if you have a September event, we're now taking submissions for September events.
Okay, and that will include the free one.
They're all free.
Okay, well, I was talking about the offers that I sent in on the 15th, but I didn't send in a free offer yet. So I send that in
Okay,
like,
are you talking? Okay, an offer is different from an event. You said event. So for the offers that are going on your personal booking page, those are due on the 15th. And then me and Erin have those updated to your booking page by the 1st.
okay, great. And those free events, that's what I'm trying in my head to distinguish which is which. When do you want those?
Those are due on the 15th also.
Okay, so whatever I send
let-
you now is not going to be for September.
It would be for September. Yep.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yep. And here's why. I want to explain why we do it that way. When people come on to the gifted newsletter, they are going to receive a list of all of the upcoming events. Okay. So I can't be going in there and changing them and updating them every single time somebody wants to add a new event. So that gives that event calendar to them for the upcoming month that they have just joined. When they come onto the newsletter, they also get a weekly reminder of those events, of who our gifted advisor of the week, and then I put like a nice little message in there. So that's why me and Erin need time to be able to get those on the website, and when people opt in, get them the right information that they need based off of current events.
Understood. Thanks. That's why I wanted to get it clear in my head.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, just a quick question.
Yeah.
So, any advice on better days and times to host events?
Great question. Yes. If you are so based off of your audience though, right? So like my audience has typically been spiritual psychic entrepreneurs who are most likely, I don't want to say like doing this full time, but have at least flexibility and can attend pretty much anything that I put out. So I have found that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are your best days of the week for people that are either have flexibility in their calendar, are entrepreneurs, business owners, like that those days work best. I also find that the times that are best are right around either 10 a.m. Central, which is going to be 11 Eastern. That's going to be earlier, of course, on the Pacific side. That's going to be 8 a.m. over there, but it's still not so early. You're not able to capture some people there.
Yeah.
So I love anywhere between 10 a.m. Central to at the latest 2 p.m. Central for that audience. Now,
Okay.
for people that are looking more for general life coaching, like psychic development, those kinds of things, you might get a better return on doing evening sessions.
Mhm.
I would say probably I would still stick to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'll tell you why here in a second. And then those maybe try in the evening and see if you get better participation.
What do you think's too late? Like if it's a 90 minute, is 6 o'clock a better start time or?
I mean, I think it's a good test to see, right? Like I think it can also be I don't want to say seasonal, but um um, people tend to back to school time is going to be interesting, right? That's a rough 2 week window there,
Mhm.
where I will always be like, oh, why isn't this working? Or why am I not getting participation? That's why, because people are just in back
Because
to
we're at
school,
Staples
big,
getting the supplies.
right? They're
Yeah.
they're they're finishing up summer last minute vacations, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think that's always an interesting time. Holidays aren't interest can be also the most lucrative time though, also if you do it right. So I think it's kind of playing around with it. I love Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I think that's a pretty good I have had good I haven't done one in a long time just because I don't want to do it. But sometimes Saturdays can, like Saturday mornings, before
Friday
people
morning.
start
Yeah.
their weekend, have a bunch of stuff going on. Saturday mornings can also, I have kids. I have a kid that plays hockey. Like, that's never going to happen in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturdays are just, but I'm a hockey mom, but I'm most likely at the hockey rink.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Angela, did you have another question?
No.
Oh,
Was my hand still up?
yeah, it popped up. No worries, no worries. Well, awesome call. So good to see everybody. I can't remember what our next. I would have to look at.
Yeah,
Oh,
when is the schedule coming out? Because I need to get it on my August calendar, otherwise I'll get booked.
there's a do you go, the calendar is always, I'm always adding different call dates and
Oh, you
times
are?
in
Okay,
inside the vault. Yep, I always add different call dates and times in there.
perfect.
So I
Yeah.
think I have almost everything listed for August, except
Yes,
I think maybe the networking call might be the only one that's not listed.
correct.
Christine, hi.
Hi. Something just came to me now when you were talking. So I've narrowed it down as well. Like, just going to go simple, like you said, psychic life coach.
Love it.
If
Yep.
mediumship wants to float in at some point or other, great. So here's my dilemma. I'm hockey mom too, right?
Mhm.
So you're chatting. And so what do? I am a psychic life coach.
Yep.
And then it's,
Really?
well, and then you're like, shit, what do I do with that? Do I stay quiet? Do I try to, I'm trying to get that read, right? They're kind of like, So tell
I
me
think
about
this
you
is,
had this issue with the hockey or just that's an example, but even in some other
yeah,
scenarios.
I don't care. So I think that's what makes me different, right? Is I don't care.
Mhm.
I actually love how it sets me apart. I love that there's like maybe a little bit of mystery to me when I'm around people for sure. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't lead with it. I usually love for people to get to know me a little bit before like that conversation or that ever like comes up. But typically I am met with curiosity. I am met with questions and oh my God, like fascination. I have not ever been met with resistance. My community has been very open, very welcoming to that. I've never hid that I'm a psychic. In fact, I just joined the Prior Lake Hockey Association I took their marketing coordinator role because I'm going to raise more money for them than anybody else ever has. Like, I'm excited about that. And I'm not hiding that, you know?
Right.
I think that's part of the problem. That's part of why there's still like skepticism and why some people think of it as just like a joke of an industry,
Mhm.
right? Is that
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
we don't display what that actually means. So I would say you're kind of a trailblazer, and everybody here, we're still trailblazers, even though this work has been on this planet since day one. You are a trailblazer in saying like this is a very like, yeah, this is what I do.
So can you help me with that a little bit? You say not necessarily will you lead with that, but um, if you are, let's say we're at a party, we're at a social gathering, people are always asking, oh, so what do you do? And it's not resistance. I think they're just they don't know how to respond. Or like you say, or are they thinking in their head, is this a joke industry? Or am I the entertainment? Or, you know what I'm saying?
I think your energy and the way you deliver what you're saying is going to determine their next, right? Like if you
Mm-hmm.
say it with confidence, they're going to be like, oh, they're going to lean into that. So I think it's less about them and more about you owning it and not, I literally could give a shit less what anybody thinks when I share with them, whether they care, they don't care, whether well, I don't like, it's not changing anything about me or what I do. I'm not going to leave there and be like, oh my gosh, that lady Jane, she just was like really, but I don't care. I
Yeah.
could care less what Jane thinks, to be very honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wish more people had that. And it's not because I'm not a caring person. It's because I don't care about people's opinions of me. This flabbergasts my mom, who is 80 some years old. And that's like, she just has lived her whole life in like fear of what other people, I could care less.
No, that is
If
a
you
good
ask,
trait to have. Yeah.
if you ask me a question about me, that's an invitation for me to share, right? And so I'm going to share. I also have the ability, as everybody else here does, to read the room, right? If I have somebody who's like, oh, a psychic coach, huh? Like I'll be like, yeah, I've been doing it for over 11 years. I absolutely love it. And I will move on and not give a shit. If somebody leans in a little bit more, is like, oh my gosh, what do you do? Like, what does that even mean? That's my also invitation. Like they are curious. They're wanting to know more. So
Yes.
it is up to you to read the room, but not care what the read of the room is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That was perfect the way you handled that. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll work with that. Also, quick question. How do I get onto the newsletter? Did I miss that?
Yeah. Just if you go to the website,
Mm-hmm.
if you go to the Gifted Psychic Network, go to the website, sign up right there. That's probably the
Okay.
easiest.
Okay. Perfect.
And then it'll take you through the process too, so you can kind of see it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Carolyn, one more question.
Yeah, not a question. I'm just back to offer something to Christine that helped me with that same question. And it really was the first thing I did was I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and so that's on my website. And so when I'm having I'm putting myself in those situations where it is uncomfortable because I'm the only person in the room when we have networking events. And so it has made me kind of refine my pitch and then also talk about, how I want to talk about it. But one of the things that was a game changer for me is when I say I kind of don't focus on my title. I focus on what I do. And so I'm saying like I help people and businesses with clarity and connection to move forward. So then people want to know versus like that weird psychic thing. Because I was a vice president for a global events company. I come from the corporate side. So I had to figure out how to kind of reach those same people in a way that was balancing the woo-woo with the polish of it all. So that was really helpful to me, and hopefully that will be helpful for you.
And I think remembering like we're breaking the stereotypes in a lot, this particular group, right? We are breaking the stereotypes. That is my mission, is to bring as many psychic mediums, healers, guides, gifted advisors to the world so that they can see like we're not, sitting here with, oh my gosh, this company sent me this. It's actually great. I did a really funny little skit on it. Like we're not actually like reading from a crystal ball, right? We're not like it's not this, gypsy like we're breaking stereotypes here. And that to me is so important. There's nothing wrong with the woo, right? But it's time to break some of those old spiritual stereotypes that are honestly keeping the spiritual entrepreneur community broke and keeping people from respect, giving us respect when we have the power to make more change, provide more transformation than, in my opinion, most any other doctor, teacher, psychologist, psychiatrist, anything on the planet. So I think it's important to bring a level of professionalism to everything that you do. That's why I created, that's 100% why I created the agency, was to elevate the way that psychics are seen. So, and I'm glad you're all a part of it.
Can I ask you, Carolyn, like I wanted to join the commerce for many, many years, and I didn't think they would take me seriously. So
They'll take your money.
Oh yeah.
Say they may now.
Can you give me a little quick like intro to what I say?
I just kind of rattled it off. Like what Amber said, depending on my audience and who I'm talking to, because those events, when I'm doing networking, will pull different people, whether you're talking to plumbers or whoever, but they could be an audience for mediumship versus an audience for their small business. So, but in general, if I have to say kind of my high level general elevator pitch is really that I help people and businesses with clarity and connection to move forward. And that seems to be something that gets them interested.
Then when do you pull the intuitive psychic piece in?
And they'll say, if they say, well, how do you do that? And I tell them, I say, I'm a spirit medium. I'm a Reiki master. I use the schools, the techniques and what I've learned, because I'm really, my platform is really, we are all psychic. And it's more of an ability. So I talk a little bit about that, and it seems to resonate with people.
Oh, great. Thank you. I love that. That helps a lot.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome call. All right. Always here for you. And I will see you in our next call. I think it's maybe onboarding. Otherwise, back here in, I don't know all the dates, but I'm here for you. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Go be in your gift.